So unless you've just been living under a rock or just don't follow the NBA at all, you would have probably heard by now that there is a ton of news going around with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Again, Shams and Woj have been absolutely on fire with all of these reports. Rumors coming from, potentially Darius Garland getting traded, the coach getting fired, all of these different rumors I'll be talking about in today's video. Before I get into that, though, I want to talk about the obvious first and foremost, that Woj did actually go out there and say that it is more looking likely now that Donovan Mitchell will, of course, re-sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers on a massive 4-year deal worth over $200 million, which is pretty insane to think about. So that kind of stops all the rumors, hopefully for now, that Mitchell might be getting traded to the Heat and to the Knicks. All of these type of stuff, right? Again, the first off thing in this Shams article says that the Cavs will take multiple days to determine whether or not they should fire JB Bickerstaff. Again, that's super interesting because in my thoughts and opinions, it's really hard because even though JB, it's tough to know whether he should keep his job or not. It's also like, well, who else do you go out and get? Again, the Cavaliers would probably be looking for a more established coach or a very well-proven assistant coach. Unfortunately, there's just none of that really available. I mean, Ty Lue is semi-available, but is most likely going to stay with the Clippers unless LeBron can talk him into going to the Lakers, or unless the rumors that LeBron might be joining the Cavs are true, then maybe he can talk him into coming to the Cavs. But again, we've all seen this before where teams are very dumb and they fire their coach thinking there's going to be someone out there that's better. Like, again, the Milwaukee Bucks and what they did with Mike Budenholzer, and then it just completely gets turned around. And you don't want to make that same mistake if you are the Cleveland Cavaliers. You don't want to fire this guy in, bring an assistant coach who's unproven in, and then obviously just go downhill and he doesn't earn the players' respect, right? Again, the other report is there's a growing sentiment around the league right now that Donovan Mitchell will sign a lucrative extension with the Cleveland Cavaliers. According to sources, if Donovan Mitchell does agree to this long-term deal, Clutch CEO Rich Paul will have conversations with the Cavs officials about finding a new home for Darius Garland. So yeah, Garland and Mitchell don't work. That's proven now. The issue is like, what trade are you going to get? Because you don't want to lowball and get something bad for Garland. I know you only average like 15 points on bat efficiency in the playoffs, but these things happen to young point guards, right? The realistic thing is as well, when Darius Garland was 22, he was an all-star and one of the best point guards in the league. When he was 23, he was a near all-star playing elite basketball with Donovan Mitchell. Unfortunately, the defense just doesn't work there for the Cavaliers, and it just doesn't make sense to have those two guys together. There was a rumor that the Pelicans were interested in and that are the number one suitor as we speak. Again, the rumor did suggest that the New Orleans Pelicans would offer Brandon Ingram and 2 first-round picks for Mitchell. That's really interesting. The first-round picks don't really matter because, again, I guess that would just be thrown into a move if the Cavs wanted to do it later on. But the realistic thing is as well, Brandon Ingram, is not a better player than what Darius Garland is, right? I mean, unfortunately, Brandon Ingram, I don't know why I keep saying Brandon Miller, goodness gracious me. Brandon Ingram is just very, very inconsistent with his play sometimes, and honestly, half the time on the court doesn't look like he cares. And again, if you want to disagree with me on that, then I'll just prove it and look at the statistics on the fact that the New Orleans Pelicans, if Brandon Ingram was the all-star he should be, pairing him with Zion Williamson and a near all-star and CJ McCollum should guarantee you playoff success when they have barely even touched the playoffs. I know there's been some injuries to Zion, being healthy hasn't been the greatest situation. If I was the Cavaliers, I'd be scared to do that deal, just knowing that of Brandon Ingram, and that it does scare me that he might not try on defense or really care. While you know damn well Garland's going to go to that Pelicans team, and can you imagine the duo that he and Zion would become together? Freaking Darius Garland's playmaking with Zion Williamson's athleticism is just crazy. You don't want to make that mistake if you're the Cavaliers. Again, I would look at other moves here and there. Again, it's really tough to say. I've seen the one with LeBron as well. If LeBron wants to come home like the rumors suggest he could, the Lakers would offer up LeBron and 2 first-round picks for Darius Garland. Again, or 1 first-round pick, sorry. Again, that would make sense. The Lakers would get a legitimate future guard in for the next 5 years or whatever, who, again, would be an absolute insane player to pair with Anthony Davis. If you were to get the Darius Garland that we know will probably come out if he does get traded and doesn't have to play with Mitchell anymore, then he's going to average you 23 points per game on 8 assists playing with Anthony Davis, just like he did with Jarrett Allen a couple seasons ago. That would be absolutely crazy to see if you're a Lakers fan. And look, the Cavaliers would only get 2 years of LeBron, so I also don't necessarily know if I like that deal. I'm sure they'll find someone. Point guards like Darius Garland are hard to come by. Again, when he's at his best, he's still a top 10 point guard in the league, right? So you do look at that with interest. The Pelicans will be the very obvious one who are going to throw absolutely everything at trying to get him, though. Again, the other one, it's being said that Jarrett Allen's extended absence caused frustration towards him from some corners of the Cavs organization. Some teammates and staff members felt like he could have done more to play. No one in the Cavs organization doubted the pain that Allen was in due to his rib injury, but the frustration stems from Allen reportedly refusing injections to ease his pain. Again, this is another one. I don't think that the Cavaliers are as frustrated with Jarrett Allen as a lot of people think they are, but I think it's very realistic now that Jarrett Allen gets traded, especially with how the Cavaliers saw how Evan Mobley played at starting center in the playoffs. Again, that was just a short taste of Mobley starting at center. Give him another off-season with him putting on muscle and doing all these things, and then you've got an absolute scary side of a man who might average you, especially if he's the second option next season, 18 points per game, probably 11 rebounds as the top 3, interior defender that he was at one stage in the NBA. We got to remember, in only his second season in the NBA, he finished 3rd in Defensive Player of the Year. This man is an absolute beast on the inside. It's just unfortunate he's had some of his play stopped by Allen. The thing is with Allen, though, again, is what do you get for a trade if you're the Cavaliers? I've seen the Hornets move where some people say the Hornets would offer up Mark Williams and a first-round pick for Allen. It would be interesting for the Cavaliers. They get a backup center to back Evan Mobley, and I guess they get a first-round pick, which could be like pick 10 in a couple years, wherever it lands, right? But again, the Cavaliers aren't really looking for picks, and it doesn't really make sense to me. One I actually saw was if the Cavaliers offered up Allen and Okoro straight up for LeBron. Again, that one is highly intriguing. But again, you're offering up an all-star center and a starting player, really, because Okoro should be starting on that Cavaliers team and does when Mitchell or Garland is injured. You're offering up that starting player for, again, what we see of LeBron. 2 years left of LeBron. You're offering up an all-star and a starting player who at one stage was one of the best defenders all this year. We got to remember the Cavaliers made it to the top 8 teams in the NBA. They have a ton of good players and they lost to arguably the best team in the NBA. They're going to be very careful with what they do. Garland probably needs to be traded. Allen maybe needs to be traded as well. But they're only going to trade those 2 guys if they guarantee bringing in another all-star and also some role players. If you bring in, let's just say, Brandon Ingram, Mark Williams, and a couple of picks, right? Does that really improve the Cavaliers? I'm not too sure. You would have, again, maybe a starting 5 of Mitchell at the 1, Strus at the 2, Okoro at the 3, Ingram at the 4, Mobley at the 5. That's a good starting 5, but that's a worse starting 5 than what you arguably already have. And plus, those picks don't really mean anything to the Cavaliers right now. So they're going to be very careful with how they operate all of this. And you don't want to take a step back unless it's to take 2 steps forward. And in this situation, I don't know if you can take a step back to take 2 steps forward. There should only really be up from here. And the Cavaliers should be looking to make a conference finals next year, especially if Mitchell stays. And they've got the leverage on the league. A ton of teams want Garland, a ton of teams want Allen. They have to be very careful here with the type of moves they make. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this, of course, all does go. But if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts and opinions on this all down below. I'd very much like to hear what you guys think on who the Cavaliers should trade. Should they fire their coach? Should they re-sign Donovan Mitchell? All of the above. I'd very much like to hear your thoughts and opinions. Don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/Leon channels. Links for them will be in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.